Hello everyone, welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Kim.
Yeah, I'm Mike. Am I Mike? I'm Mike.
You're Mike.
I checked. I'm Mike, yes. So today we're going to be talking about good table manners. Well, actually today, tomorrow, and the next day. And you know why we're doing 3 days?
Because everyone needs to know so much about table manners.
Because good table manners is important.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you're at the meeting and you want to impress your boss, or you're out with your boyfriend or girlfriend's parents for the first time and you have soup running down your shirt and, you know, a piece of steak attached to your face and you're using your spoon to try to cut the steak and a fork to eat your soup with, and it's a disaster.
I think that's not so much bad table manners as you've never eaten at a
It's
table
not
in
very
your life.
smart, true. But still, good table manners are important, and they can also be confusing, especially if you go to different cultures.
That's right. That's where the biggest confusion comes from.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever had one of those culture shock moments when you're in a new culture and you look around and you're like, uh-oh, I'm doing something wrong, or you look around and go, uh-oh, what is everyone doing around me?
Well, I actually have reverse culture sort of thing.
What happened?
So here in Taiwan, when you finish your soup,
Yeah.
it's not that unusual to just pick up the bowl and finish it.
Sure.
And I did that back in the US, and my family was like,
What? Yeah.
No good.
Yeah, no,
you can't do that in the States.
You would have to leave it on the table.
And try to dig it out with your spoon.
Exactly. And actually, I've heard that's even true with rice between Asian countries. Like here, people will pick up the rice bowl and do that. But I don't know if it's Japan or Korea, people don't do that.
Oh.
You kind of leave the bowl on the table and you have to get all those little bits of rice. So even there, when you're using chopsticks, you're eating rice in a bowl, you think you have good table manners. Well, depending on where you are, you might not. So we're going to find out more about good table manners in part A of our dialogue.
Foster and Emily are at a formal dinner.
I'm not used to having so many knives, forks, and spoons for one meal.
This is quite common for a formal dinner.
Can you help me with my table manners? I don't want to do anything rude.
All right, so yes, good table manners. That's what we're talking about. And of course, table manners, knowing what to do when you're eating a meal, when you're at a table. It's not really important when you're standing up eating a hot dog.
No.
Or standing up eating, you know, some noodles on the street. But when you're at a nice dinner and there's lots of different things on the table, knowing what to do and how to do it and knowing what is right in the certain situation, that's what we would call table manners. So let's look. Foster and Emily, they are at a formal dinner. And yeah, when we say manners, it's just a kind of another way of saying polite actions. Okay, it's good manners to hold a door open for someone, to let them go, or to cover your mouth when you cough or you sneeze. These are good manners, good actions you do to show that you're trying to be polite and you're trying to think about other people. And these table manners are especially important when you're at a formal dinner or a formal meal. What does that word formal mean?
So they're at a formal dinner, so this is a dinner that's for like a wedding or at a really nice restaurant, something where things are expensive and you have to dress up and there are waiters probably with the serving platter
big
like
trays,
this. Yes.
And yes, the wine waiters and all that kind of fancy stuff.
Yeah, so it's not going to fast food with your friends. It's not eating a hot dog on the street. It's not going to the noodle cart on the corner. It's going to a sit down and eating restaurant where things are very formal, usually very expensive, very nice kind of place.
Exactly.
So that's where they are.
And if you don't have the right table manners, you could embarrass yourself, or people could look at you funny. You could feel very uncomfortable. So it's a good thing to be aware of and know about. So let's get into our dialogue. It begins with Foster. And well, he's very honest about worrying about his table manners. He says, I'm not used to having so many knives, forks, and spoons for one meal. He's a casual guy. He's comfortable eating a hamburger at a fast food restaurant or some noodles in the night market. So he's not used to this. It's kind of new and a little strange for him to have all these knives and forks and different plates and different glasses and all different sizes. And,
I know, have you seen it? It's like a puzzle you have to put together. Like small fork, large fork, small spoon, knife, and that's
right.
What do you do?
It can be
I don't
very
even know.
confusing, right?
It's scary. Well, Emily says this is quite common for a formal dinner. So I guess Emily is used to this. Maybe she eats a lot of fancy stuff.
She grew up in a palace.
Oh.
Yeah, she's Princess Emily of Kaohsiung. That's who she is. But for her, it's very common to have this type of thing. And when something's common, it's just sort of normal, right?
Yeah, average, usual, normal, not anything out of the ordinary. It's just very common. So it's common to have this kind of place setting at a formal restaurant. If it's a really nice place, they're going to have 6 forks and 10 spoons and 3 bowls and 5 glasses, and each one has a purpose, so you better be careful.
Well, it's true. They often do, right? So this is something that's normal, usual. It's what you would expect to find in a fancy restaurant. And so Foster, he needs some help. He says, can you help me with my table manners? Okay, I don't want to do anything rude. Yes, well, when you're at a formal dinner or any kind of situation with other people around you, you try not to be rude, especially when you're not with people you know well. If it's your friends or family, it doesn't matter what you do. No one minds. But when you're out with people at a party or a nice dinner in a formal situation, being rude or doing things that make people uncomfortable or might make you embarrassed, things that seem rather impolite, you're not being polite, you're being kind of rude, like making strange noises with your body.
Yeah, don't do
try,
anything like that. It's
try
not good.
Not to do that around people you don't know well. All right, let's take a break and then we'll be back with our first lesson in proper table manners from Emily.
Sure. First, take your napkin and lay it on your lap.
I know that part. I need help with the different plates, glasses, and utensils.
Okay, for the utensils, you start from the outside and move into the plate.
That's not too hard to remember.
No, it's not. All right, are you ready for your first table manners lesson?
I am.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing too, so we'll learn along with Foster.
All right, well, Emily says, sure. So she's replying to Foster from before our break. He says, can you help me with my table manners? And she says, sure. First, take your napkin and lay it on your lap.
Good point. Don't put it on your head.
No.
That's
don't tie it around like you're going to rob a stagecoach.
Right, so you look like Santa Claus. Yeah, no, don't do that. Well, some people would tuck it into their shirt, right, and kind of have it hanging down.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I've heard that you shouldn't do that. That's not a good thing to do. But yes, lay it on your lap. Put it across where your legs are when you sit down. That's what we call your lap. It's just that area that you're that sort of table that your legs make when you sit down. When I think of lap, I think of cats.
Yeah,
Whenever
they're always
I sit
on your
down,
lap, right?
My cat loves to sit on my lap.
Yeah.
So yes, lay it on your lap, all right? And Foster, well, he's had dinner somewhere before. He knows how napkins work. He says, I know that part. All right, so basically, yes, this is not new. I understand napkins, put it on your lap. Sure. What else? He says, I need help with the different plates, glasses, and utensils. All right, because this is what is on the table. And as we said, at a formal meal, there could be lots of plates. These are the dishes, the bowls, and flat things like plates that you eat off. Of course, the glasses. You might have a water glass, a wine glass, white wine and red wine. They're different shapes. This can get confusing. And utensils, these are the things like knives, forks, spoons, I guess chopsticks.
Yes.
Would be utensils. Anything that you use to get the food from the plate into your mouth, we would basically call that a utensil. All right, so there's a number of things to learn here. And yes, we also mentioned this verb lay. When you lay something, you put it down flat. on an area.
So you can lay down on a bed or on the sofa to relax. That's the phrase we use, lay down.
Sure.
You can also lay something gently on the floor, like when you put down a baby, or maybe if you're holding a dog or a cat, you can lay them on the floor. And it's just, putting anything flat on the ground. So in this case, lay your napkin on your lap, make sure it's flat.
Okay, you could also just say put your napkin on your lap. That would be acceptable. People would understand that part. All right, so let's get to the important stuff, the glasses, the plates, the utensils.
Don't worry, Foster, I'm confused too. Okay, but Emily says, okay, for the utensils, you start from the outside and move into the plate.
Good advice. Yeah, because sometimes you'll have 2 knives and 2 spoons or some forks, but the simple thing to do is go from the outside to the inside, because often your salad fork will be smaller. You often eat the salad at the beginning, so that's the first one you pick up.
But you've got so many forks, just use any of them. It's a perfectly good fork. Why do you have to use the small one?
Sometimes they're different shapes and sizes because you want to have good manners and you want the queen or the president or whoever you're eating with to be very impressed and think, oh, what good manners you have. I don't know why. The other thing, of course, you could do is just watch what everyone else around you is doing.
Oh, you're just sitting there waiting for other people.
Do the same thing. But yes, that's a good tip. Work from the outside in towards the plate. And as Foster says, that's not too hard to remember. In other words, he will remember that because it's a simple rule.
And Emily replies, no, it's not. Okay, Emily, he just asked a question.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Okay, so she's a little upset that he doesn't know this or something?
Yeah, maybe he was like, I know how to eat at a fancy restaurant, but then they get there and he's like,
Yeah, well, he might not have table manners, but she's being a little rude there.
Just a little bit. Let's hope tomorrow
so.
she has a better attitude about it.
Right, but if she said it in a different way, it's not too hard to remember. Yeah. It is easy to remember to work from the outside to the inside. And hey, if it is too hard to remember, just stick with Chinese food or something.
Yeah.
You only have chopsticks.
There you go.
But
that's easy.
It's actually not that easy. And we're going to be learning more about that kind of utensil and those kinds of table manners in tomorrow's dialogue, aren't we?
Ooh, can't wait.
I think we are. So, stay well, be healthy, be neat and tidy, and remember your good manners because you don't know who you might be having lunch with in the future. All right, everyone, take care. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Foster and Emily are at a formal dinner.
I'm not used to having so many knives, forks, and spoons for one meal.
This is quite common for a formal dinner.
Can you help me with my table manners? I don't want to do anything rude.
Sure. First, take your napkin and lay it on your lap.
I know that part. I need help with the different plates, glasses, and utensils.
Okay, for the utensils, you start from the outside and move into the plate.
That's not too hard to remember.
No, it's not.
Hi， 大家好，我是 Stephanie。那我们一起来看单字。第一个呢是 manner， 名词，礼仪、礼貌。It's not good manners to talk with your mouth full。满嘴食物的时候说话是不礼貌的。第二个呢是 formal， 形容词，正式的。It's expected to wear a suit and tie to a formal wedding。正式的婚礼上需要穿着西装打领带。第三个呢是 rude， 形容词，不礼貌的，粗鲁的。The waiter is frustrated by the rude customer。服务生对那位不礼貌的顾客感到沮丧。最后一个单字呢，就是 lay 动词，放置、平放。首先，我们先来复习这个字的三态是 lay, laid, laid。Katie laid her purse on the table。Katie 呢把钱包放在桌上。那第一个文法重点呢是 somebody is used to V-I-N-G， 某人习惯做某件事情。就像我有一个朋友，他去了英国留学回来之后，他生活习惯就整个大改变，变成习惯早上才洗澡，也就是我们第一个例子 Eileen is used to taking a shower in the morning. Eileen 习惯在早上洗澡。另外 be used to 后面也可以接名词。我们来看另外一个例句哦。Willie is not used to the weather in Alaska. Willie 不习惯阿拉斯加的天气。那第二个文法重点呢，就是 A helps B with something。A 协助 B 某件事情。Pete helped me with the boxes.Pete 协助我搬箱子。那如果今天是某个人需要帮忙呢？这时候我们就可以说 Somebody needs help with something。比如说 Do you need help with your homework？ 你的作业需要帮忙吗？介系词 with 的后面放的就是需要协助的事情。最后一个重点呢，就是 That's not too hard to remember。那并不会太难记。我们首先看这个句子的第一个重点就是 too 加形容词再加 to v， 表示某件事情太过于……就像是 too hard to remember， 表示太难记。但是等一下，这个句子前面呢还加的 not， 也就是我们的第二个重点，双重否定的用法。负会得正嘛，表示某件事情不会太过于……所以 not too hard to remember 就是不会太难记。好，我们再来看一个句子哦。The store is not too far to walk to。这家商店走路不会太远。或者是 It's not too crazy to think that I can make $1 million。我想赚100万这件事情应该不会太疯狂吧？好，那这就是今天的讲解。See you。
They're so tall. One of my favorite things about festivals like this is that there's always going to be a lot of booths that serve local specialty foods. Like for instance, right behind me, I see seafood. Since Taitung is right by the sea, seafood is one of its specialties. I got, let's see, baked flying fish. I've never had that before, so let's give it a try. Super excited to try this. It looks like I got the tail. It's really good. It actually has like a beef jerky kind of texture to it. And the taste is very fishy, but also very fresh. Something smells really good. Let's follow the scent. Someone's doing barbecue. So right now he's barbecuing what he calls wild boar meat or mountain pig meat. 那你这样子一次要烤多久？大概？ Oh, so it only takes about 20 minutes before you can get a really good piece of pork. These are all handicrafts that are handmade by the Amis people. They're so colorful, and a lot of them you just can't find anywhere else. So this is a great time to shop. I hope you had a good time today, because I did too. I'll see you guys next time.
See you next time!